I'm homeless in Baltimore, shooting heroin, eating out of trash cans, prostituting my body. My best friend Bam's like, yo, come up here, be on this. And I would do any stunt that no one wanted to do. If I got hurt, then I would be rushed to the hospital where the doctor would give me the scripts, and it was like a justified permission to get high.
Sit right here.
Yeah. No, my fucking asshole.
Hemorrhoids?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been there. Are you serious?
We can get into it.
Please. Please, I'm dying. My buddy Ari Shafir has the worst set of hemorrhoids.
I have a photo of it. And we can get into it.
Please. Are you rolling, Halston? Let's get into it now. My buddy Ari Shafir has to shove toilet paper up his asshole every day to stop it from bleeding.
That was me.
For real.
For an abundance of I'd say 12 years.
Really?
So the situation with my asshole, Bert, is that it doubled as a suitcase for many years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Keefing stuff.
Yeah. To get through customs and to secure my fucking drugs without tampering from the authorities, what better place than up a man's asshole?
Yeah, they never check.
Who would want to?
Yeah.
Fuck. And I'll show you a picture that my buddy Bam made a book and he had to show this off to the world. And it's a picture of my hemorrhoided asshole. And no one in the right mind would ever go near this. And the picture speaks volumes.
Ari, there was a video of Ari's asshole. I forget what it was called. Yep, Jew clam. Ari's Jewish.
Oh, that's amazing.
Are you from Baltimore?
I am.
Ari's from Baltimore. He's from Maryland.
I did another, speaking of Jews and hemorrhoids, Richard Christie.
I know, yeah.
I on the Howard show, they paid me $200 to lick his hemorrhoid asshole live.
You must have been using, I'm guessing, right?
I walked out of there with so many sideline deals that I made prior to going in. Like, yo, Bert, I'm going on the Howard show. If you want me to endorse your company, give me fucking $1,000. So I had all these deals before I went in. And I was Artie Lang had given me some subutex that day because I was withdrawing from heroin during the show. But I walked out with a pocket full of cash and just rode it.
Sweet, wait, how did that go down? Because Artie was like, I didn't know Artie used heroin until one day I'm driving home trying to get an early flight out of the Borgata. I'm driving back to JFK, and it's the episode when Artie came clean and was like, I think he was nodding out.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, you on something? And he's like, yeah, I've been using heroin. And I think that's how it went down. And I was like, shut the fuck up. When you went in, did you know he was using heroin?
It had already been established that he had situations.
Oh, cool.
And the thing is,
cool. That sounds weird.
But it's
yeah,
it is what it is. And see, when we would do that, one of the shows we did got the second highest ratings ever underneath the Reunion of the Friends episode for that. And they still play it like fucking crazy.
Really?
But we would stay up and party all night and do blow because who can make a 5 a.m. call time in New York City?
And is this the whole Viva La Bam crew?
Just Bam and I at this time. And so I was out of my mind on blow, but I went in there and for my crew, it was always cool if I did blow and drank, that was socially acceptable.
Yeah.
But the rules that I had to live by was no heroin and no pills. Because if I was on heroin or pills, I'd fall asleep in mid-sentence. I would steal your wallet. I would fucking rob your house, wreck your car. So Bam felt that was not a good idea.
Really?
And he kind of made everyone in the circle aware that was not to be offered to me.
Coke and alcohol is it's kind of a weird social norm. Is a little blow and alcohol makes sense to everyone.
Yeah.
And then the second you take it to the next level, even a Xanax, the second you become unusable to the group, it does.
Bert's got a problem. Bert's got a problem.
Oh, I've been told I have a problem before. I've been told because of Xanax.
Yeah.
I don't really take Xanax anymore. Although I was planning on taking one tonight.
Fuck yeah, man.
My wife's out of town and I'm by myself and I get anxiety just in my house by myself. So I was like, I'll just take a half of Xanax and fucking sleep. But after talking to you, I was like, my workout today, I was like, I bet. I talked to Novak and I'm like, I'm not taking a Xanax tonight. blowing alcohol always made sense. It's interesting because I was always told by executives that Knoxville, Steve-O, everyone was on pills.
Yeah.
That was the rub. Is like, they're all, the reason they can do that is because they're all on fucking Dilaudid.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that we like to have a good time.
Yeah.
And for perspective and to create a narrative, the first Jackass was sponsored by Miller High Life. So before it became like really unionized, they would literally have to rent out 2 extra hotel rooms to stack all the Miller High Life. So it was, it was kind of like that scene.
Yeah.
So everyone was just kind of enjoying.
It's
themselves.
interesting. Viva La Bam had a different vibe than Jackass, in my opinion. I was a big Viva La Bam fan. Like, legit. Still am a Bam fan. I still am a Bam fan. I know that, like, I don't know what we can and can't talk about. I know there's DMs going around. Everyone's saying, like, retweet this. He's in Los Angeles. It only bums me out. I don't know the right way to say this. I know that he'll end up listening to this.
Sure.
And I like him. I really like him. I root for him. I root for him even when he fucks up. And I know, like, I would say I'm alcoholic adjacent in that I have a lot of the tendencies, but I also get all my shit done and I quit whenever I want. And so, like, but I understand the tendencies. I remember one time he was.
You can not only create but adhere to some boundaries.
Yeah.
What separates you and I?
Yes, certain things make me sad.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think. The thing I think that, and I don't know the right way to say this, but I can see the sadness in addiction, and it can break my heart. And I go, ooh, don't get that close to the fire.
Yeah.
Like, party, have fun.
Yeah.
If you need a drink on the plane before you take off, take one. But don't be the guy that, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Yesterday, taking off from Tampa, stayed out with my parents all night. We get up early, get on the plane at like 6:20, and the guy goes, "Can I get you a drink?" I go, "Yeah, double Jack on the rocks." And he gives me odd eyes, and I went, "Never mind." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "No, you asked if I want a drink. That's what I want." So he brings me the drink, and then he comes back. He goes, "Can I get you another drink?" I said, "I'll take another double Jack on the rocks. I'm getting ready to go to bed." And he goes, I can't do that." And I went, "Cool." And he went, "What?" I went, "Cool. It's fine. If you're not comfortable with it, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not going to be the guy that pushes your hand to get me a drink. I'm 50 years old. I'm sitting in first class. I'm good." And he went, "Well, hold on. Let me get you something." I went, "No, you don't have to get me anything. I don't want you to be put in the situation where you feel like you have to get me something."
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where you and I differ. That's what makes because I'm the guy that, there's 4 glasses of wine to a bottle. So why the fuck would I order 1 glass when you have a busy bar to attend to? Let's just start with the bottle.
I got that brain
fuck.
too. I got that brain too.
Like,
I definitely am not going to fucking waste money and do $12 a glass of wine when I can go $40 for a bottle.
It quick, man. Let's get to the point.
That's so funny. Yeah, because
that's how I look at it.
Bam, one time he was sober. He was going to Brazil, and he gets on Instagram and he's like, "I just got robbed. Fuck it."
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember going, "Sure, we've all been robbed." Yeah, I've been robbed too, buddy.
It was like a Monday morning for me.
I got robbed because I missed my flight, and I got robbed in LAX.
It was their fault. If they didn't rob me and got me to the airport on time, I would have made the flight. Never would I have been kicked off.
But the thing that bums me out is that I remember watching you at your lowest on Viva La Bam.
Yeah.
And I remember them rooting for you, and I personally rooting for you, going like, "I'm not getting to see all of this cool person because of drugs." They're masking a lot of what all these guys that I love this one guy, and I'm not getting to see it. I'm seeing some of the sad parts. And I went, but I remember Bam being the champion for you
all the time. Dude, he would his mother, Ape and Phil, would be like, "Why do you keep giving him chances? He's going to hurt you. He's going to steal from you. He's going to lie to you."
Yeah.
And the truth be told, that was real. That was the reality. But my addiction was so much bigger than I gave it credit for. Like, I underestimated the opponent that I was up against, meaning alcoholism and addiction. And I believe that I had a pretty good idea of how to handle things and, more importantly, what to do with them. Yeah. And all I was doing for so many years was just rearranging the furniture on the Titanic. like trying to place this person here, this job here, this woman here to create a specific outcome. But my fucking ship sank every goddamn time. But Bam would never like not give me a chance. He'd make it tough. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. You stole, you're out of my house. You took a credit card, you're gone, which I'd done those things. But then I would like leave. I'd go back to Baltimore. I'm living in this big castle with fucking on TV, getting paid, the lavish life. And then in the blink of an eye, because of my addiction, I'm kicked out back in Baltimore, sleeping on people's sofas, which progresses then to like abandoned houses, then like prostituting my body, letting men fucking blow me for hair. And I'm like, dude, this is unacceptable, right? Like this is self-induced. I created this outcome and something needs to change. So ultimately the pain would become great enough where I'd like then do what was necessary to create a better outcome and then let Bam know like, yo, I'm actively working on my problem, and he'd give me another chance.
Wait, how many, get me to like, I would love to know your path. Because Baltimore, it's so funny. I know a guy named Matt Fultron, who's a comedian, who was a skater in Baltimore.
Okay.
Bucky.
That's my guy.
Bucky,
well, that's who got me sponsored.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. I know a lot about skating for not being able to fucking ollie.
I was gonna say, when the fuck did you enter the skate world?
Dude,
Bert?
I've been skating my whole life. It's funny whenever I get back into skating is whenever Tony Hawk starts making millions. Like it's funny because I've talked to Tony a few times and he's like, yeah, skating would dip out and then I'd be broke and then all of a sudden it would just show up. Yeah. That's when I bought skateboards. Okay. So I have a lot of skateboards.
Skateboarding kind of taught me life. It taught me recovery. It taught me life of like by way of no is unacceptable. Failure is not an option.
Yeah.
You know, a skateboarder will try the same trick over and over for days, weeks, months, sometimes years, and fucking make it and move on.
I said, it's so funny. I was skateboarding the other day down the street and I had a little bit of a buzz and and I thought skateboarding is a lot like life. This is so beautiful and so pretty and so carefree until you hit a pebble and you go flying over your fucking head. Like, and I go, that's
in the blink of an eye.
In the blink of an eye.
Unexpected.
Just shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
And I go, that is so funny you say that. So wait, so you started at what age? Like what got you into skateboarding?
My mother at 7, she gave me a skateboard. And that night when she put me to bed, right, I was fucking enamored by this board. And she said, Brandon, what would you like me to do with this skateboard? And I said, I want it in bed with me. She said, why? I said, because if I die, I want it to go with me. The moment that board, like Bert, you could be the best fucking ping pong player in the world, but God might not see fit to put a paddle in your hand.
Yeah.
For whatever the reason is.
I'm sorry. I've thought this so many times. I always go like, I really might have missed my window in Olympic diving.
You could.
I never dove in my life.
Speed walking?
Dude, archery?
Bring it on,
archery?
Dude, the sweet little fucking get-ups they wear.
I mean, there's so many things. They should have that as 1 year of schooling as a child. At first grade, when like, just skip reading altogether and run them through the communist gamut of fucking activities where they go, you are a, because they used to do that in East Germany. They just go like, yo, everyone throw a ball. All right, everyone go to that side of the room. Keep throwing balls. Now, everyone over there, throw a javelin. All right, keep going. Everyone run. And that's how they picked their Olympic athletes.
I was going to say, which makes sense as to why all these amazing athletes come out of all those countries.
So you fell in love with skateboarding at 7?
Yeah, at 7. I fucking ate it. I breathed it. I slept it. I dreamt it. Like there was no reason for a plan B, a trait, or an option. Like I was going to skateboard the rest of my life. And then Bucky discovered me at around 14 and got me.
Bucky made that Orioles hat cool.
Didn't he?
Bucky
and the
made
graphic,
that
the
Orioles.
His name's tattooed. I just tattooed his name on me.
Really?
Night, yeah.
I had a fucking video of him teaching tricks. I have no fucking, by the way, I'm embarrassed to say it because I think I was like 27. I had a video of him teaching tricks to a kid, and I was like, and then we'd take it over to me and my buddy Croy would take it over to Pan Pacific Park and try to do the tricks. But
get it.
But yeah, he was a badass man.
Dude, he took me under his wing and I wanted to be him. He was like my version of Santa Claus at 14. I dressed like him, I walked like him. He had this gold chain with a B on it.
What year is this?
Fuck. Life had been a blur for me.
I'm going to tell you what year it is. I'm going to tell you what year it is. And I'm going to guess. Yeah. I'm going to say I was, right before I went to Russia, I was probably 22 years old. So it was 95, 96.
96, I was homeless shooting heroin in Baltimore.
So it was a little bit before then.
So let's go
94, 92.
3, 2, somewhere in that era.
Because that's when skateboarding started picking back up again. That's when the movie Kids, I think,
Yes.
was about to come out.
Yes.
And like skateboarding started picking back up, and you go on campus and everyone was getting out of their mountain bikes and you see bros on skateboards. And I was like, fuck, I haven't skated in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you picked it up.
When I picked it up the second time.
To Tony.
So I first picked it up in like 5th grade, 6th grade with Back to the Future.
Dude, so many people started
Back
skating.
to the Future.
My homeboy Kerry Getz
Yeah.
started skating because of that movie.
My first skateboard was Billy Ruff.
Yeah.
It was a Billy Ruff
Totally.
with the wine goblet.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking. Then I had a Christian Hosoi.
Hosoi is amazing. He's the guy.
He battled addiction pretty bad.
Dude, heavy. And he's like, found religion, found God.
I reached out. I've talked to Christian a couple times on DMs.
That's my
about
guy.
having him on the podcast. He's
a
I mean, I
fucking
say
legend.
I say this in like, you got to remember, I come from Florida and I'm 50. So like things weren't always the way they are today, but like it was badass seeing an Asian dude be a pro skater.
Yeah.
Like, because you only in Florida, you never saw like much diversity. It was just black and white and Cuban in Florida.
Yep.
And to see an Asian dude as a pro skater with like fucking
Everyone
badass
that
hair.
had like stepped apart from the rest of the norm with his style, with the shirt off, fucking rocking these Christ airs. He was the
Dude.
party guy, like, fuck yeah, let's get it running.
God, Christian Hosoi was fucking badass.
But dude, so I do these tours with him with punk rock and paintbrushes where we call kind of travel and do these pop-up art shows, and I give talks and sell books, and he gives his talk with me, and he talks about, and he's donated a lot of money to my houses. I own these sober living houses where I provide free scholarships for anyone in need. Different topic for a different conversation. But anyways.
No, we'll get there. I want to talk about all of it.
Yeah. But he talks about ending up in prison, doing, I think, a 13-year bid to find freedom. He had to go to a jail cell in order to find his freedom. And it was the most profound thing.
It's so funny. I've joked. It's probably not something, I make a lot of jokes about recovery and stuff. Like my one tour was called the Birdie Boy Relapse Tour, and like a lot of people got upset by it. It triggered them. I was like, I totally get it, but also, I'm just whatever.
It's not that heavy.
But I've joked about my wife about going to rehab so much because and it's not even. I just need a reset. Like I want a reset, like where I don't work. I just go to bed without without getting off my computer. I just want to reset. And it's so funny. I saw today some viral clip of this kid talking shit to a judge, and the judge was like, I'll send you to prison for juvie for a year. And he goes, send me. And he's like, it's better there than where I'm living right now. And I went, whoa.
That's heavy.
That's because then that kid is probably living in a really dangerous.
No doubt.
And he's like, send me to juvie. I would love to eat solid. I'd love to sleep. I'd love to have a bed to be in.
And at that young age.
Yeah. And it was really fucking fascinating. But yeah, that's interesting that Christian said that because there was a lot of dudes. You remember Gator?
Yeah.
Gator
killed the chick?
Is he still in jail?
I believe so. Yeah, he's there for like ever.
God damn it.
Yeah. Things got dark and brutal quick.
Well, so what was the brightest period of skateboarding for you as a kid? Like where you go right before it got dark?
For me, I didn't even see it coming. It wasn't like I was aware and had these warning signs of like things are going to get bad. I believe that I was genetically predisposed, right? Yeah. My mother's a nuclear physicist at Mercy Hospital on the board. My brother's an attorney in the White House who practices pensions and benefits. And my father never held a job a day in his life. He ran with the Hells Angels and taught me one thing, if and when I go to prison, how to conduct myself, right? So as a child being brought up, my mother kind of supporting the whole household, she would leave me with him. And then with him, he would like go to conduct his business at the strip joint. And he'd be in the back doing his deals. And I'd get sat on a bar stool and the pretty dancing girls would pour shots of like ginger ale and Coca-Cola. And I would do them and the girls would applaud and my father would give me a look of approval. So looking back, I think I was kind of being molded into this situation to where it was the norm and wasn't too crazy. That paired with in the skateboarding world, it wasn't like I had a 9-to-5 to go to with a boss and a lot of accountability. I lived in Baltimore. My team manager was in Santa Barbara at the Powerhouse. So I would just call him and my check-ins were like, yo, Todd, I filmed this part. I filmed this trick. I'm flying here. Can I get this package? I wasn't the kid that had to come in when the street lights were on. And no one was really worried about me. And I actually like excelled at everything I did to prove a point why I'd never become my fucking father, right? Who ultimately died of a crack overdose.
For real.
Yeah. And I made total peace with him now, and I know that he did the best that he could with what he had.
It's a stupid question. I'm assuming your dad was a really good looking guy.
He was, dude.
Like, cause you have striking features. You're a good looking dude, but when you were younger, when you were strung out, as you got sober, you became a better looking person.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
It's really interesting,
dude. Yeah. I mean, you remember the Viva Bam days.
Yeah.
Heroin preserved me, Bert. like it does one of two things. It really fucking does you dirty if you get sober, or it can kind of preserve you and kind of Benjamin Button you. And I think that's what happened with me, and I'm kind of reversing in time. Right now, at 44 years old, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in, physically, mentally, spiritually.
I think I saw a video of you working out. I saw a video of you working out, and I was like, because I've been following you for even way before we started. Like I said, I've been a fan since fucking Viva La Bam days.
Yeah, dude.
How does heroin get in someone's life? Because that's my biggest fear for my daughters. Is right now they're both. I'm not certain I'm allowed to. I don't know what you're allowed to talk about as a dad anymore, but like,
sure,
I think they both tried alcohol, and I think they both tried marijuana.
Sure.
And I don't know if they smoke. I don't know what that is, but our friend circle and the group of their quote unquote uncles are all like one of their uncles is a guy named Joey Diaz, and Joey Diaz eats a fucking 1,000 milligrams of marijuana. Listen, cocksucker, So like what they've been around hasn't maybe been the healthiest. My wife's smoked weed twice, barely drinks, but like, so I don't know. But my biggest fear is pills and powder. Just have fun. Be a kid. Have fun. But don't take that next step. And how does that next step happen?
So what I see working in the industry, owning a treatment center, helping people, going back real quick before we get into this, where you were like, dude, I love a reset. I help people get into treatment. I put them into my facility all the time. And they're like, dude, I don't want to go. I'm not sure. And I'm like, I will gladly trade positions with you for 1 month. You can take my bills, you can take my responsibilities, fucking my employees. Send me somewhere. Tell me where to go, what to eat, when to go to bed. Take my fucking electronics. Please. So I'm with you there. And as a matter of fact, a lot of sober people will do like these treatment center retreats kind of for a 30-day resets.
There's one in Malibu that I always look at, like, and I forget the name of it, but it's 10 days.
Dude, do it.
10 days. And it's not like no drugs and alcohol, but it's not like a rehab. It's more like a health place.
Do it, man.
And I was like, I fucking want to go there.
A lot of executives.
So go there so bad. And I want to stop talking.
Yeah.
That's my number one thing is I'm talking so much. And I'm sick of hearing myself talking.
Same.
And I know there's people online that have to be exhausted with me because I am.
Yeah.
Like I get an opportunity to do a podcast with someone like you or like Lex Friedman the other day.
Yeah.
And I want to do it so bad, but then I go, man, I could use a minute to shut the fuck up.
I love that. And I'm with you. I'm kind of, although I'm an extrovert in a lot of perspectives, when I don't need to be, I'm a fucking single 44-year-old man who lives with 3 cats for a reason. Like I don't talk. I don't need to. I need that solace and that solitude. But anyways, going back to what we were talking about, what I see today and what my experience kind of looked like is this. The prescription, opioid epidemic, the big pharma, the pharmaceutical, it really just destroyed kids, it destroyed lives. And it was financially incentivized and motivated, meaning that, Purdue comes in, big pharma, they hire all these marketers to go out and pitch their drugs that are non-addictive. FDA approves on this and pushes all these docters to now start prescribing to Billy. Billy's the varsity high school football player. He breaks his ankle, right? Billy breaks his ankle, goes to the ER doctor who's met with a solicitor from Big Pharma, push these pills. All right, Billy, we're going to give you 30 days of oxycodone, Oxycontin, whatever. And Billy, sure, it comes from a doctor with a stethoscope, insurance pays, not even out of pocket. No rhyme, no reason, no problem here. Billy starts taking these pills. 30 days into the pills, the prescription runs out. He goes back for the follow-up. Dr. Davis said, Billy, you're good. You don't need these pills anymore. That's fine. Billy probably didn't need them to begin with, that amount of a heavy narcotic. But now Billy's built a dependency on these pills. He's physically addicted and mentally obsessing over it, right? When's the next pill? When's 3 o'clock coming? He's built this pattern of behaviors up.
I've been there.
Right?
I've actually been there. I fell off a waterfall. It's funny.
Fucking exactly.
I fell off a
Point
waterfall,
proven.
and didn't break my back, just a muscle contusion, a severe contusion, and they gave me either Oxycontin or oxycodone, and Valium.
Yeah,
and I was supposed to take one every 6 hours, and of each. And there is a fine line between my back really hurts and I don't feel like going to dinner with my wife's friends, but this will make it so much better.
The effect produced.
And it's like, or
and then you're looking at the clock, right?
And going, it's been 4 hours, but if I take one now and then I know I'm going to bed early, I bet I can be, like
negotiating with yourself so you can
yeah.
justify the behaviors that otherwise look like addictive tendencies. But if you can rationalize it in your own fucked up brain to make you feel okay with it, what happens is that starts snowball affecting. And then, okay, so Jimmy now runs out of the pills. Doctor cuts him off from the script. Well, tell that to his body who can't go to sleep. He's shitting, he's pissing, he's detoxing.
The fucking hardest part was constipation.
Yes, or you can't shit.
Yeah, I couldn't shit.
Yeah.
And I said, my wife woke me up and threw the pills away. We were getting ready to go camping. And she was, I mean, this is so silly to say, but like one of my favorite parts of waking up was taking one of those pills,
absolutely,
having a cup of coffee and having a cigar.
Yeah.
And having a cigar in the morning and then feeling the pain of my back go away.
Mm-hmm.
And she was standing on the side of the bed and she had both pills in her hands. She's like, "You are done." We were going camping too.
Wow.
We were going camping. And I was like, "Oh
fuck."
I go, baby, not this weekend. But this weekend's a bad. I have a plan with these pills. Yeah. Like we've been thinking about how we're gonna handle this.
I've been proactive in addressing this. I saw it coming.
And she was like,
no need to worry, babe. I got this. No. Not right now. Not fucking now.
There's other ones you can throw in. Those are the ones that I need.
Now. When we get back from camping, we'll address this. Come on.
Let's get through camping. Yosemity's a fucking uphill battle.
I'm detoxing for you right now, Bert. Fuck.
And she threw them away.
Oh.
And I will. All I will say is, I'll say two things. She let me get a prescription for marijuana, and she said, "Do whatever you got to do to get through this weekend, but you're off these pills. You're not present. You're not present, and we're going camping." And I know for a fact, and I could call Leanne right now. I said things to her that weekend. That I didn't say.
No doubt.
The drug said. Yep. And I said things that to this day, she'll remind me that I said, just out of nowhere, remind me that I said it and giggle and go, "You're lucky I fucking love you."
Ooh, cuts like a fucking knife.
I said some horrible things.
Which, going back to people in active addiction and you see stuff they post and things they put out that are directed to certain people.
Oh, yeah.
You can relate. And what I know to be true is that hurt people at that time will hurt people unknowingly.
And you don't even know
you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it.
And
you hurt the people that you love the most.
By far,
not the fucking pharmacist down the street or your doctor. You would never talk to your doctor that way because you might want another script.
I did. It's funny. As much as I say, like, "Oh, I don't have a problem," I did the things to get the thing.
Totally.
I did the thing, like called my general practitioner here.
Yeah.
Called the doctor back in North Carolina to prescribe them.
Aligned all the dots.
I was like, I got one more month is all I really need.
Certain tone in your voice, deliverance.
Oof.
Yeah.
And they had kind of fucked up and double booked my prescription.
Oh, how dare they?
They had fucked up and they had been like, "Here, we got your prescription." And then my production crew filled that one, but then I had another prescription.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. I was like, "Well, you know what? You never know.
I'll just keep this on reserve in case."
Yeah, you never know. Oh, man,
but
Leanne
point proven. So now, thank God you had Leanne, and you have a fucking decent head on your shoulders, and maybe weren't cursed with the disease of addiction gene.
Yeah.
But you have this Jimmy kid, right, who's just a 19-year-old football player, breaks his ankle, doctor prescribes him, then doctor cuts it off. Well, that's great, but tell that to his body, who is going through withdrawal.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, he has to start buying these from people on the street.
And he's 18. It's not like he can go to a bar at the end of the night and have a cocktail and relax.
Totally.
Or like sit and have a glass of wine and go, "I don't feel fucking good, but let's just get through tonight."
Yeah. So a perk 30, generally $30. So you buy 3 of them, that's $90 for 120. And you do that for an 18-year-old a week straight, that adds up. Yeah. The account starts running low, and then all of a sudden I see it day in and day out. And it kind of played out like this for me. prior to this incident, never breaking his ankle, not playing the football team, the heroin addict was the junkie under the bridge with the brown paper cup fucking begging for change. Now Jimmy's been cut off from the doctor from a legitimate script was written over a varsity football player. Jimmy's the man of high school, never will be a drug addict. In withdrawal buys from his buddies, the pills, bank account depleted. Now all of a sudden, fucking Dave from down the block, who's like the dope fiend that everyone stays away from, just happens to cross his house. Opportunity meets fucking perfect timing. And Dave's like, dude, you're sick? Well, I got this like $10 bag of heroin that will get you so much higher than fucking 10 Oxycontins. Why not? Just like that, the word heroin is no longer taboo. And it actually, we rationalize it to make it make sense.
Today's podcast is sponsored by one of my favorite sponsors we have, Mad Rabbit. Why do I love Mad Rabbit? Because they are everything you need for tattoo aftercare. Tattoo care if you have a tattoo. If you're wondering what word I'm saying, it's tattoo. Let me see if I can say it like the regular people. Tattoo. A tat. I can do it that way this way. You've got to check out Mad Rabbit. No, for real. My daughter has a tattoo. My wife has a tattoo. Isla wants a tattoo. And then we have a tattoo artist coming to do tattoos on everyone, I think, in the crew. We're going to do crew tattoos, bus tattoos. We're super excited. You've got to check out Mad Rabbit. They're committed to reinventing tattoo aftercare. Founded by two friends with a passion for ink, Mad Rabbit creates simple and effective and natural products that help improve the healing process and preserve your tattoos, all delivered directly to your door. Plus, they've got all the products you need for your tattoo, from tattoo sunscreen to a tattoo soothing gel and more. I'm telling you right now, I love this company because they let me say the word tattoo. That's why. This is an old school podcast company when you think about it. Those ones that first started sponsoring us and we would say wild, crazy shit. And they're like, I don't care. I love the artist. That's this company. Support cool people. These are two friends. Support them. If you have ink, go get Mad Rabbit. I've gotten it for the girls. I got it for Leanne's leg tattoo, and it looks so much better. So when you think tattoo care, think Mad Rabbit. They've preserved over 1.5 million tattoos, and right now they've got an exclusive offer just for our Bertcast listeners. If you go to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use promo code Bertcast, you'll receive 25% off. That's 25% off when you head to madrabbit.com/Bertcast and use our promo code Bertcast. All right, guys, let's take a minute to talk about something really, really, really important. Your summer style. Oh, I get to pick a summer look this year. I used to do that so much, and I haven't picked a summer look yet. Here in the States, the days are getting longer and warmer, and that calls for super comfortable shorts and tees. Okay, let's talk about these True Classic tees for a second. I mean, I'm telling you right now, they are so comfortable, and they support your yoked out parts without accentuating your broked out parts, if that makes sense. I mean, I couldn't believe how good it feels. The material is so soft on my skin. The fit is ridiculous. It's slim, but not too slim. And it hugs your arms just right, which shows off those biceps that I've been working on. My biceps are yoked right now. But even better, they've got these new summer-ready colors, and they come in packs. So you can have plenty of options. I wore a black True Classic on a podcast I just did, and I'm always conscious of how I look in the t-shirts on a podcast. Dude, I looked great. It was so comfortable. True Classic wants to hook up our listeners with an exclusive deal to help you look good and feel good for a limited time only. Get 25% off with the code BERT at trueclassic.com. Upgrade your wardrobe for summer with 25% off with code BERT at trueclassic.com today. I heard Artie say, and I feel bad. I really do feel bad talking about anything with Artie, only because I barely know him.
Sure.
But I have so much respect for him.
Yeah.
And I also am hyper aware how quickly I just share stories, and I don't realize sometimes people want to be in charge of their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And so I only am repeating something I think I heard on radio.
Yeah.
Was that Artie got into heroin because he was taking pain pills and drinking whiskey, and someone's like, yo, that's so bad for you. Heroin's so much better for you. Mm-hmm. It's better for your liver. And he was like, really?
Yeah.
And that's how he got into it. And I mean, it's the one thing I've done Dilaudid, but I don't know if I felt it the way that you're supposed to. Like, I don't know. It wasn't. I pulled my phone out, and because they were like, it's like pharmaceutical heroin.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna write a poem, and so I put they hit
on
it
Dilaudid.
on Dilaudid, and so I hit record on my phone, and my poem was, "Oh fuck."
I was gonna say 2 to 3 words max.
Fuck yeah. Fuck, my face is warm. My face is warm. Like it was, but it was crazy. It really zaps all pain away.
No doubt. I see. My preference was shooting speedballs. I like to fucking load up a syringe with a nice bag of heroin and a dime of cocaine. Just fucking go for it.
Is that? I would think that would feel like a panic attack.
It feels like heaven on earth to me. You can fuck off with that panic attack. To me, it's like a fucking wet dream where I just never stop coming. I can taste it in my mouth talking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
How hard is it to talk about drugs when you're in recovery?
For me, I'm a sick, twisted individual who has this crazy love in my heart for drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of them. I consume them by any ways and means necessary. My life consisted of basically living to use and using to live throughout my whole life. And then what happened for me is it went from this party that never ended, this basically spring break for 20 years, to, in the blink of an eye, a hostage negotiation where I was no longer allowed to leave, and the party had ended, and I lost the ability to have a say-so in when or how much I used or whom I used with.
So how did that? So tell me about the spring break. Like, what was the spring break like? Like you first try. I always assume that. Like and I only say this because I know Christian has gone through it. I know that Scott Adams went through it. I always assume in like watching Dogtown and Z-Boys that it's like it's beer, it's 40s and blunts, and all the cool things I loved about skateboarding was like, dude, a nice pair of loose fitting khakis, some Chucks, a t-shirt, a 40, and a blunt. And like fucking Ice Cube, and you're just sitting on the skateboarding on with your buddies, having a great time in the sun.
Yeah.
And then I assume one day it turns.
Yeah.
But like, how long did the spring break last?
Well,
and did you meet Bam and all those guys during that?
Yeah. So how I met Bam is Bucky takes me under his wing, both from Baltimore, gets me sponsored by POW, and every weekend we would go skate this skate park in Pennsylvania called Cheapskates. 15 years old, I walk into there and I see this kid, and this kid I recognize is going to be a problem for me. He looks like me, he dresses like me, he skates like me. We're the same.
Yeah.
And he's consistent, contest skater, and I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be an issue. And we hit it off, and we became thick as thieves immediately. So then we would start staying at his parents' house, Ape and Phil's, and
by the way, shout out to, can I just secret time?
Please.
No one knows this. Ape was a fucking dime when she was young.
Dude, I remember, I was living with them once when Bam took me in, and Ape's just screaming at me one day because of something I did fucked up, and I just look at her dead serious, and I'm like, I used to jerk off to you, Ape.
She was so fucking hot. She
is a dime piece.
Fucking hot. Like, I remember one time I saw a picture of, like, I don't know how it came up. Halston, do you have a computer there? Can you pull up a picture of April?
She was a
Margera?
smoke show.
She was a fucking smoke show. Like, legit. Because now all anyone knows her is the cool mom.
Yeah.
The really caring mom. But when she was young, she's still pretty
like,
older.
Yeah. She was like, kind of that hippie, very free, riding around in a VW bus kind of. I remember seeing pictures of her as a kid, like, wow.
What's funny is Don Vito was a big call-in guy to Ron and Ron when I was a kid.
Dude, do you know that Don Vito is the
Ron
guy?
Fez.
He was an accountant. He did all the books. Like, he was the numbers guy.
Really?
For Bam. Him and Phil.
Is that fucking young Phil?
Yeah. I'd imagine. I don't know. But she'd only been with him.
Yeah. When she was young, man, I saw a picture of her with blonde hair long, and I was like, holy shit, she was a smoke show. People forget that because people only know her as like the mom, right? Yeah. But every mom was a dime.
Dude, my father used to tell me all the time, every woman was a whore except your mother. But if you ask your father, he'll tell you otherwise. Meaning my mother walks on earth. She's like God's gift to this world. But there was a point in time where she's done every whorish act under the sun for my father.
Yeah.
It's just the fucking way it is.
It's Yeah, well, I was about to talk about my wife. It's so sexy when just once when they slut it up a little bit,
Oh, dude.
and you've been married for 20 years, and they say something fucking crazy, and your stomach drops. That's my first kiss.
Yeah.
Like my wife's like really bummed she'll never get another first kiss. But if you give her a kiss, like a kiss out of nowhere, you can get her to drop her stomach. But when she says fucked up shit to me,
Yeah.
my wife did the coolest thing. I'm going to say this real quick.
Fuck yeah.
The other night I go to do a podcast with Bob Menery in Hollywood, and it's a full day of press, and I text her, and she says, "Hey, I'm gonna come over the hill. Let's have dinner." And I was like, "Cool, I'll find a restaurant." And then I find a restaurant. I'm like looking for a restaurant on Sunset Strip, and she just texts and goes, "Fuck it, get a hotel room.
Oh,
Let's just get a hotel room, have room service." And
I saw that on your story.
And we went to the Sunset Towers.
Yeah, you were staying right across the street from it.
Yeah.
The window view, I saw.
Yeah, and I was like, shut the I was like, you motherfucker. You came from out of nowhere. It was the fucking coolest, hottest, funnest,
if walls could talk.
Fucking greatest night. And then we drove home. We didn't even spend the night there. We just hung out, drove home. I was like, how was dinner? And we were like, it was great. But yeah, so I cut you off and I'm talking about, so you meet Bam.
Well worth the cutoff.
You meet Bam skateboarding.
Yeah, so this is in the very beginning. He's not sponsored yet. I'm riding for Pal. Bucky got me connected with Pal, and Bam was like, we were the same, one and the same. Bam was always like, yo, get me sponsored. And we were actively trying to get him sponsored by Pal. Somewhere within and every year we go to this contest in Bricktown, New Jersey, the NSAs. And either he would win or I would win religiously. Yeah. And one year, I don't show up. Bucky goes, and Bam's there, and he goes to Bucky, yo, where's Novak? And Bucky's response is, I think he's on heroin. And Bam's like, what's that? So young, he had never even heard the word.
Really?
Short story long, Bam's career continues to excel. He fucking blows up, becomes a household name, creates the CKY movies, which net him his first $1 million.
So that's funny because, I think a lot of people don't know. I always wondered what the thing itching Bam is. He's had a lot of loss and stuff, but like, I think a lot of people sleep on just how talented and innovative he's been as a creator, as a skater. I mean, this is a story no one's ever going to believe. Johnny Knoxville and I sat in a tour bus in 1996, 97 and watched CKY videos.
Yeah.
On a tour bus. We watched CKY videos, and he said to me, this is fucking this. And then that night we were dressed in drag in my apartment in Tallahassee. This is 1997, I'm guessing. 1997. And he pitched me Jackass because he had been doing these Big Brother articles where he'd gotten shot in the chest. And he's like, this is what it is.
Rick Cossack with the whole Big Brother.
Yeah. And so, but we watched those CKY videos. They were so fucking insanely hilarious.
So when Bam so I continue to his career excels. He makes the first CKY video. This is like DVD
and
era.
There's skateboard.
This is VCR era.
I have all the CKY videos. Someone sent me all of them, all the DVDs. Was there skateboarding inside the CKY?
Yeah. So he was so innovative and ahead of his time. He saw that like skate videos are rad, but they get boring. Let's fucking mix this up and I'll get my homies and we'll make these funny skits, fuck with each other, skate, add this amazing music and kind of just something new and different that had never been shown before. And it sold like hotcakes. And that's what netted him his like first $1 million. And so the first one came out. His household name. He then got sponsored by Toy Machine, I believe.
Toy Machine. Toy Machine. I have Toy Machine stickers all over because it has the word machine in it. Who was the Piss Drunks?
Which, congrats on the next fucking move, the last movie.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing gig.
Who did the Piss Drunks?
Andrew Reynolds and those guys.
Okay,
the Baker boys.
How are they doing?
They're good.
Okay, good.
Andrew's a sober guy. He's a fucking great guy.
Yeah.
But so Bam does that. He continues to excel and kill the world. And I thought it was in my best interest to pursue a life of heroin. So I'm just like going to shit. I become homeless in Baltimore. And I at that time I treated skateboarding like the love of my life that got away. I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to talk about her. I didn't want to know where she was at or what she was doing. Skateboarding was that with me.
I think there's most men. I won't say men because I'm a man. That's what they have, a sport that is that thing for them, and it is. For mine, it was baseball.
Yeah,
is that I just quit.
Yeah.
I just quit, and I chose partying instead of baseball.
Right.
And I couldn't play intramural softball.
You don't want to hear the word.
I don't want to go to a baseball game. The first baseball game I went to after I quit, my buddy was pitching in the pros, and he asked me to come watch him pitch against the Yankees. And I went to a baseball game like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then I think we ended up in the locker room. And it was like watching my
I was gonna say that's even more insult to injury, going to the locker room where most people are like, oh fuck yeah. Dude, like, no.
I'm the same age as all the dudes playing.
That should have, could have, would have.
And I was like, it could have never been me. I was never as good as those guys, but I remember thinking, like, it's weird. It's like watching your girlfriend with their new boyfriend.
Straight up. Like, I want no part. So that's how I treated skateboarding. So I'm on the streets, robbing, lying, stealing, manipulating to get money to support my habit. And when times got tough and I had no opportunity to get money, I would, maybe on a really crazy day, enter this skate shop and try to get some money from them. But times had to be bad. One particular day, I go into the skate shop in Baltimore, and I'm like, yo, can I get 10, 20 bucks? Like, we're not going to give you money, but Bam was here yesterday with the Toy Machine team. They did a demo. He asked about you. We said we never see you. Timing and aligning is everything to me. And he said, he left his phone number and said, if you want to get off heroin and start skating again, call him, and he'll help you. 2 weeks go by. I go to the 7-Eleven payphone. I put my 50 cents into the payphone, which is everything to me. I'm like homeless.
Yeah.
And I'm holding onto the receiver because, like, if the machine picks up, it takes my 50 cents. So I got to, like, hurry up and beat that. And he doesn't give me his number, but he gives me the number to a skate shop in Westchester. And I'm like, yo, Bam. And they're like, no, but he was just in here. And as a matter of fact, he's next door eating sushi at the restaurant. Hold on, I'll grab him. They go over, grab him. He gets on the phone, and we picked up right where we left off. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? That night I was on a Greyhound bus going to his house in Westchester, and I had never left from that period on.
Yeah.
And in that interim, there was a lot of coming and going. He'd kick me out. He'd throw me out. I'd fucking save face, say whatever I had to do to get back in. And throughout that time is kind of like, he would allow me then from the CK, then we did another CKY, and he allowed me to be a part of that and put me in that. And then I get kicked out again, come back, and now it's Viva La Bam. He allows me to be in that and gives me, like, you can be in the show, you can get paid, you can have a credit card, a car, but you cannot do heroin. You cannot do pills. Anything else is fine. So he's kind of, he just didn't understand.
Yeah, it's not his fault, but
No.
you understand now how
100%.
slippery that slope is. Listen, we have an open relationship. We can invite girls into the bedroom, but you can't fuck anyone behind me. My back. And you're like, well, that's kind of what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, totally. But to get back to what you were saying, during the time he was making those CKY videos, I'm coming from Baltimore, fresh out of, like, the fucking shooting gallery in these abandoned houses. So I just want to party every night. And he'd be in his editing bay, and he'd be editing, and he'd have an ab wheel, and he would take breaks by doing the ab wheels. And I would bug him to go to the bar. And he was the most motivated, productive. His whole thing was like, let's be productive. What the fuck are we going to do? Even if we had nothing to do and I was going to go jump in the fucking muddy pond down the street, we're filming it. We did something. And it's just, unfortunately, the disease of addiction does not discriminate. From Yale or jail, the White House or the outhouse, the results are all the same. And 1 out of 3 people are affected directly or indirectly. And, he kind of had that, went from the CKYs to the Viva La Bams, crazy successful, got a lot in a really short period of time, Right Guard commercials, fucking Wheaties box, you name it. And then from there, the Jackass, and it was just kind of like a lifestyle, a rite of passage.
I worked with,
because think about it, and what other line of work would fit an addict or an alcoholic's resume better than something like Jackass or Viva La Bam? The more outlandish your antics are, the more outrageous your behaviors become, the higher the ratings go, the more in demand you are, the more money you make. That's a fucking alcoholic's dream.
And I say this respectfully.
Same. Everything I say is totally out of love.
There's no skill set involved. And I watched that with Ryan Dunn and Bam. And there were 3 other dudes. One guy had a real curly mustache, and I don't know his name. He was friends with Dunn. Dunn tried to do, I did a show called Bert the Conqueror.
Yeah, I've done hair tattooed on me.
He was a really fucking cool dude.
He was a really fucking cool
Genuinely
dude. A great man.
He I mean, I can't, I only have one interaction with him. I only have one interaction with him. I did a show called Birth Conqueror, and they came to Travel Channel came to me and offered it me like 4 times. I was like, pass. And then finally, I was like, if I do it for like X amount of dollars, I'd be interested. They're like, well, if we can get it for X amount of dollars, we're gonna bring in other talent that's at that pay grade too, and you're gonna have to audition. And I said, I'd rather do it that because I don't really want to do the show. And they were like, okay. And one of the people they brought in was Ryan Dunn. And so we did it at not Great Adventures. Maybe it might have been Six Flags, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And Dunn showed up. He had 3 dudes with him, and he was really kind of like to himself. And then Bam showed up. But what's really interesting about Ryan Dunn is he didn't give a fuck about the show either. Neither of us did. The other 2 guys were hustling to get it. So Ryan said to his 3 friends, and as always, I could be misremembering, but he says to his 3 friends, hey, ride with all the other guys, because we were riding a roller coaster blindfolded. He goes, ride with all the other guys, find out what they do, so I don't do the same thing, and then tell me like what they're doing. So then I did mine, and they came back and they told Ryan, he's got the show. And then Ryan's like, why? And they're like, he's fucking hilarious. And Ryan Dunn came down and he's like, wait, what did you do? I said, I have no fucking idea. I said, I don't like riding roller coasters, so I think I had a panic attack. And he just he was smoking cigarettes, and he was like, wait, did you really ask if blind people have ever ridden the roller coaster? And I was like, yeah, because we're blindfolded. And he was like, did you really ask if someone had watched someone's dog while they or held a cane? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, did you? And like he was going through all the things that his friend said I said, and he was giggling at them as we were talking about them. And he was just like in kind of like, oh, like, the fuck, do you have no filter? And I was like, I guess. I go, I don't know, man. I'm a comic. And I want to say he gave me his phone number. I bet I still have it. I want to say he gave me his phone number and was like, hey, if you ever come up, I'd love to see you do stand up. Oh, of course I don't have fucking glasses. No, I don't have it. And but then Bam showed up, and this was the most fascinating thing I saw. And I just remember it from afar. I've always looked at my career a lot of times at looking what I don't want. It's the easier way to get things. It's almost like taking a look at a puzzle and go, all right, get rid of all the pieces that aren't the outline. Let's start there.
Yeah.
And one of the things that fascinated me was...
That's basically how I've lived my life. Process of elimination, but backwards.
Yeah.
I just failed at everything so fucking much, so bad. The last thing I tried was the first thing that worked, and now I'm like pretty goddamn on point.
Yeah. As Ryan and Bam walked through fucking Great Adventures, wherever it was, at the height of Jackass. This is 2000. I was 36 years old, so they must have been... I don't know how, 30, 27, something. Yeah. This is the height of Jackass. There are kids yelling, do Jackass. And they were like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And they're like, do Jackass. And then like Bam like slapped a dude and they fucking went crazy.
Yeah.
But I could see the look of like, they didn't know what this sounds weird, but they didn't know what their talent was or wasn't. They didn't know what they were valued for or what they weren't valued for. They were just really fucking famous. And I remember them going like, I don't even know what the fuck Jackass is. Like I don't know how to do Jackass. And I didn't realize what a great skater Bam was at the time.
Yeah.
And I watched that happen. And then after that, it was like, there was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on television is on Viva La Bam. I've to this day, it's my favorite thing I've ever seen. It makes me giggle so much. I actually had a dream about it last night. I swear to God on my children. I had a dream about it last night. Bam and Ryan go up in a scissor lift, and someone comes down and takes the key.
At the bottom of the driveway.
And
totally. They sit up there for hours.
They sit up there for hours, and then finally someone comes, and it's just those two up there. And then finally someone...
They have like a loudspeaker they're talking into?
Yeah. And then finally someone comes down, and they're like, please, get the key and let us down. And someone goes, you can just press the button, it'll take you down. They're like, what?
Which is life, basically.
It's the fucking... They're like, we could have gotten down this whole time.
Dude.
I laughed so fucking hard at that. It's funny that what little things you remember in that life, but I remember that house looked chaotic.
It is.
And for someone dealing with addiction to go into that house and think, this is my solace.
Yeah. So it's like weighing the scales of justice, right? From my story and how it pertains to this story.
Yeah.
I'm homeless in Baltimore, shooting heroin, eating out of trash cans, prostituting my body. My best friend Bam's like, yo, come up here, be on this, right? Do these like insanely dumb stunts, potentially get hurt, become a household name, get paid well, a celebrity of sorts, and get all these amazing opportunities. Like, fuck yeah. So I would go there and I would do any stunt that no one wanted to do. A, for screen time. B, it would support my habit, right? Down low. And D, because I wasn't allowed to do opioids or downers, but I could do like coke and drinking. If I got hurt, then I would be rushed to the hospital where the doctor would give me the scripts, and it was like a justified permission to get high. And I would I was the guy, dude. I was the one like, fuck yeah, let's go. My threshold for pain was like non-existent compared to where I came from and what I was doing prior to ending up on the set.
Me and my buddy Tom Segura is very funny. We both had an affinity for opioids. I remember we were talking about going into the doctor, and they're like, "Where's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10?" We're like, "Who says 3?"
I know what the
fucking
fuck's wrong
10,
with you?
bro. Crank it up, fucker.
Well, those are the motherfuckers that go to the bar and have a drink or do one line of coke and go to bed and put the bag in their dresser. I want to beat you up.
Yeah.
Why fucking bother? Let's fucking run it, man.
That's the fucking. What's it like? You can answer or not answer it. What's it like the first time you prostitute your body? Dude,
it was my genuine question and concern was because it's a thing for men. There's fetishes of everything, but they want to blow guys, right? Yeah. So they pay you I was paid to get blown, and the guy pays me. We go to this park, and it's in my book. It's the first chapter of my book, and I break it down in like crazy description. And he's a lawyer, dude. He's like a successful lawyer, and he drives this burgundy Cadillac. And we go to this park, and it's getting late, and the dope shops are about to close, and I want to hurry up and finish this act. And my concern was, am I going to be able to come? Because I'm not gay, and nothing's wrong with it. It's not who I am. And I'm like, dude, the deal doesn't close until I fucking...
Oh, shit.
That was a genuine concern.
So what do? Just close your eyes and think?
Yeah, I just think of a fucking gorgeous Pamela Anderson of sorts, on a beach here. And
I bet I could come if the dude suck my dick.
Well, so here, fast forward.
I bet I'd come faster.
I go on Howard Stern, and I'm like, dude, I want to get blown by what better person? Yeah. Like, that's what they do. It's all they do. And I guarantee they're great. And these men look like really hot women these days.
Yeah.
Fast forward to we're on tour in Australia, and the promoter and bam, they rigged this up. Now on Howard, I basically let my mouth write a check that my ass did not want to cash. Right?
Yeah, I've done that before. Yeah.
It's like a Monday morning for me.
Yeah.
So we're in fucking Australia. We finish this deal. We go back to the penthouse, and now keep in mind, I've been on blow for like 6 days and deprived of sleep, and I'm starting to get really paranoid. Yeah. And I used to watch that show Cops, where they would do the prostitution stings, where they'd be here, the cops are there, and then they fucking butt. Yeah. So all of a sudden, there's a knock at the suite, and it's this. I didn't know it was even happening. There's this transgender prostitute who looked like a Hawaiian sumo fucking quarterback. Not easy on the eye by any means.
Yeah.
With her pimp. And they come in, and then bam, and then reveal to me that, we're going to do this. And I'm like, now at the time I'm engaged. And I'm like, this is fucking fuck. Why did I do this? I just want it done quick. So I put everyone in the bathroom because cell phones had just started becoming a thing. And like my fiance can't find out about this. Yeah. There's a reason why I'm a single 44-year-old that lives with 3 cats, dude. Yeah. Relationships are not my strong suit. But I put everyone in the bathroom, including the pimp. I sit on a chair. She sits on a chair, and the bed's over here. And it says, well, you want to go to the bed? And I'm like, why the fuck are we going to the bed? No, I don't want to go to the bed. I don't even want to do this, but we're here. And I said, look, full disclosure, I'm I'm on cocaine. I'm extremely paranoid. And if you're a police officer, just arrest me now. Like, let's just fucking do it, man. And he's like, sweetheart, I'm not. And I said, well, then you're going to have to take control of this situation because I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so out of my element in sorts. and he gets up and he crawls over. And I just want this over, man. And he undresses takes my belt off, and I like to talk dirty, right? And I like to fucking like play with tits and just fucking get weird.
Does she have tits?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like, how do I talk dirty to this Samoan like quarterback, definitely man, but says it's a woman?
I'm gonna fuck you like James Cook.
Dude, like
I'm gonna take over your island.
It was so bad.
I can't swim.
Somehow, miraculously, an act of God takes place and I fucking come. But here's the icing on the cake. The pimp comes out of the bathroom. All the people in the bathroom that were partying come out. The party resumes. On the way out, the pimp and the prostitute steal Bam's like probably like $40,000, $50,000 platinum heartogram necklace.
Oh my God.
So this terrible age blowjob that I didn't even want ultimately cost like probably $60,000.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. But the blowjob must have been quite well because I ejaculated quick.
I always say I've been joking about it. I've been saying on stage, like, I think I'd be really good at sucking dick. I think that it would take a lot longer than I'd think. Like, I think I'd start off really strong, like sprinting in a 5K, and then go, oh, this is a lot longer than I think it's going to take.
Dude, I sucked a dick once to prove that I wasn't gay.
That's a good way to do it. We were in a car one time with a guy who said
That's
that.
a good way to do
and
it.
He goes, we were doing I never, and so he was like, I never sucked a dick as a joke. And this guy drank, and we're like, really? And he was like, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't gay. Yeah. And we're like, that's one way to go about it.
Process of elimination, dude.
Fucking take it by the horns, why don't you?
We were on tour, and Bam had this band called Fuckface Unstoppable. And we'd tour all around.
Yeah.
And he had all these like prominent band members in the band. And he was the lead singer, and I was always on the tour, and I was the best friend of him. I was like the most important person in the band, but I wasn't in the band. Yeah. And no one could control me. I could do anything I wanted, had the right of pass. It's kind of like your wife or something. You know what I mean? Like fucking keys to the castle. No one's going to fuck with her because she's with you.
Yeah.
So finally, the rest of the band's like, dude, you got to do something. You're on the tour. You're taking a bunk. Like, you got to do something. And they come up with this concept where I'm going to open for them. But instead of Phil Collins, I'm Pill Collins. You can Google the shit. And I come out very GG Allen. If it's at 18 and over, I wear a thong. But generally, I'm completely naked, and I come out and the lights, the fog machine, and I can feel it coming, and I'm singing that, and I'm throwing the wine on the audience. I'm smoking, cussing, spitting, and naked, and then Bam will come out, and I intro the band, and as it goes to doo-doo-doo-doo, then he would come out and fucking flying jump kick me to the face, and the full-blown rock show would come on. Yeah, that must have been an 18 and over gig.
Nice thought. Is that a?
There's my dick. Yeah, there's see a little assistance from Bam's wife. Yeah, I'm not happy. but I was Pill Collins.
Yeah,
and I don't know what the fuck got us into that story. So we're on tour in Australia, and this reporter, we're doing some press, and they're like, "We hear that you've performed some homosexual acts on stage. Is there any validity to that?" And I'm with the drummer from Guttermouth. And he's as insane as I am. And I look at him and I'm like, are you calling me a fucking You call me a fucking We jump up, two guys hold him down, pull his pants down, do 2 pumps of his dick. And I'm like, fuck you, and leave the interview on camera. Like, so wrong. Like,
oh my God.
I don't agree or condone with any of that, just so everyone knows.
Is it true you've done some? I bet that guy I bet his questioning was really in the pocket after that. And he's like, so, wait, did you ever talk to him again?
Dude, no. That's probably for the best of both of us. You know, when people get so bad, like I was for a lot of years, people thought it was best to love me from a distance.
Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets, their best prices are guaranteed. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped up for the fun you'll have. That's the fun. We went and saw Goose the other night. Last minute, right? Last minute. Use Game Time. Here's the best part. the girls were so pumped, and it was all the last minute, and it was not stressful at all, and we had a blast. I actually introduced them walking on stage, whatever. I could have just flexed my, but I didn't. I used Game Time. Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen, they're coming out to LA. We're going to go see them. Get images of your seats before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone so you'll never have to dig through your email. Snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Bertcast for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code Bertcast for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. We celebrate life's biggest moments with champagne, but everyday achievements deserve to be celebrated too. That is the motto of my life. Whether it's closing out your to-do list, getting ready, getting somewhere on time, or just making it through another day, that's reason to celebrate. So next time you accomplish something within your everyday, celebrate it with Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, because that's what living the high life is all about. We are on tour. I do not drink during the day, but I have my first beer when I get on stage, because then technically my day is over. I celebrate the fact that I've worked out, that I got the crew there on time, that I got the comedians there sober, that all the comedians did a great job, that we sold the tickets. I celebrate that with a Miller High Life, 2 Miller High Lifes, to be honest with you. I pour them into a big cup. The bottles are gorgeous. I wish I could drink them faster out of the bottle, but I need to drink it fast. Pour them both into a big Starbucks cup. Man, it is such a treat. Welcome to High Living. The High Life means you appreciate quality and timeless classics. You believe the best parts of life are not rare or hard to achieve. You celebrate achievements within your everyday with the champagne of beers like people have done for generations. Welcome to the High Life. Go to MillerHighLife.com/Bert to find Miller High Life near you. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I can imagine that. I got that for a period of time of people not knowing what to expect with me.
Yeah, unpredictable.
Well, the word in Serbia, I guess the word in Serbian for spontaneous, it sounds a lot like unpredictable. And I am a loud. Even, I mean, I'm not drunk all the time. Like I'm sober. If I'm probably 80% of the day, if I drink, it's going to be at night. And so, but there's still like this, like, I think there's this thing that comes along with me of like, he's a wild man. He takes his shirt off. He talks shit. He fucking drinks. He's the life of the party. He's the number one party animal in the country. He robbed a train in Russia. Like, I think that came along. And I remember one time this guy, Billy Gardell, great. He's on Mike and Molly. He's a great actor, great comedian, good friend of mine. He was having dinner at his house before a show, and he invited everyone, but not me. And I go, hey, how come you didn't invite me? And he's like, man, I can't trust you around my kids. And I go, Billy, I got kids. He's like, yeah, I know, the fucking shirt off and the drinking. It's not, my wife's not like that. And I went, by the way, we were really good friends. And I told him, I go, I can be a regular person. I can be a regular person. And he's like, you promise? And I was like, Billy, it killed me.
It hurts.
It hurts because you're like, I know I am wild, especially on stage. At the time, I was really crazy on stage. Like, I would bring people on stage. It was chaos. It was total chaos.
And that, proving a point with that, and great analogy, is that's kind of alcoholism and addiction at its finest, right?
Yeah.
Like, it progressively gets worse. It's fun. It's manageable. It's containable. And then before you know it, it's not. And
One day,
I used to think that no one knew that I had a problem but me.
Yeah.
And then I went to rehab and realized everyone knew that I had a problem but me.
Yeah.
Like, totally back. Same with, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
in your mind, it was fun. You can shut it down. You have kids. You're a family man. But then somewhere along the line, it just kind of gets a little ahead of us.
It's
or me.
No, I think it happens for everyone. I mean, I know it's happened with like we had a friend the other day. I was telling someone, I don't mind when people get really drunk around me. It doesn't bother me. I feel like they're sharing a little bit of who they are. They're being a little bit honest with me. They're letting their guard, a little guard down. But it's funny that people, when they do get, sometimes I know for a fact, happens with young comics, when they hang out with me, they end up ramping it up a lot.
Sure.
And you're like, oh, you don't need to go there. We can just have a drink and then go to bed. Like, we can all fucking get in our bunks and pass out. And But I've seen that happen a lot around me where people just try to they think it's going to be something. And I go, it's not always that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, but not always. Wait, what was like, I mean, I guess the word's bottom. What was the moment where you were like, this has got to change?
So for me, right, because
And how many times did it take?
Throughout that time period of when I met Bam to the end of my addiction, I was able to do some things that people would attribute to success and happiness and potentially even like dream of doing. So from the external perspective, it looked like I had a logical approach and a great outcome to my life. But in reality, behind closed doors, but not with me, which was really cool in the long run, because it actually turned out to, in a weird chain of events, allow me to be who I am today and provide help to like however many in the world, and just be an open access and a conduit to help people to reach out. So ultimately my defects turned into my assets, but this is all unbeknownst to me.
Yeah.
It allowed me to build this pretty big flat platform that then once I sobered up, I just kind of share my story throughout now and offer a way of help. But throughout that and doing these things that people deemed as success, I just couldn't fucking keep a needle out of my arm. I couldn't.
So was it shooting up that was your thing?
Yeah, I love shooting up.
I love putting, this sounds horrible. I take testosterone and I love the act of shooting myself in the ass with testosterone.
Really?
I love it. And I don't know why. There's I think it's a little bit of masochism, but I love I'm sadly I'm too fat to see if I get the whole thing in. So I need my wife or someone to help me make sure it all gets in. But like, I love the actual shoving it in. I love the piercing of the skin.
The whole act. Dude, I have, Kat Von D did this tattoo on me. Where's my needle?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Like I had lost, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I have a sick, twisted place in my heart for it. And now it's really turned out to be an asset of mine because I can see the light at the end of that dark tunnel, and through my experiences and being very open and transparent with it, God willing, my hope is that people out there listening that are in a place that I once was, that don't believe in themselves, hopefully believe enough in me that it in turn allows them to believe in them just enough to fucking pick that phone up that weighs 1,000,000 pounds and call me. I was just
thinking that. I was just thinking that because you unwittingly, unknowingly shared your addiction and your struggles with the world.
Yeah.
Like I watched it.
I had no clue.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think a ton of us thought you were going to pull out of it.
Dude, my mother bought me a plot. I have a plot right now, Yeah. In 2009, she spent Mother's Day and she went and bought 2 fucking plots on Mother's Day. And she said to me, if I die, who will take care of you? And really fucking, the homelessness, the prostitution, the degradation, that was just all's fair in love and war. It was a Monday morning that came with addiction.
Yeah.
But what was unacceptable to me was hurting the woman that I loved more than anything in this world repeatedly, over and fucking over. And there's nothing I would not do for that woman right now. So help me God. You name it, I'll do it. She is fucking the light of my life. And when I can't physically or humanly control my behaviors to break her fucking heart, to steal from her, to make her buy me a plot against my will, that was fuck. And then I got to a point at the end where I just wanted to kill myself on a daily basis, but I was terrified to fucking hurt myself in the process. And the drugs had stopped working. They no longer allow me to disconnect from reality. And I would have this moment of clarity to see what my life really looked like was. No matter how high, drunk, or loaded I was, I couldn't escape this terrible reality that I created for myself, which means I started to take accountability for my actions and look at the part that I played to put me in these places that I no longer wanted to be in, and realized that it was self-fucking induced. The common denominator in my problems were me. And if I just got the fuck out of my way long enough to latch on to someone who seems to know a little bit better than me, then maybe I stand a chance. Yeah. And that's ultimately that, and a few more things took place. And now my mother, at the end of my run, man, I was a 38-year-old homeless heroin addict. I had been in 13 inpatient treatment centers, lost count of outpatients and detoxes. My mother had bought me a plot. She had sold 3 homes to pay for me to go to 2 different treatment centers.
Jesus.
She had served me with a restraining order. She literally, she did an interview and it's out. And I play this, and I travel the world and I give these talks, and I play this 7-minute video before I come out on stage. And at the end of it, she talks about buying me that plot, and she says, I pray every night before I go to bed that God either cures him or kills him, because I can no longer take this anymore. My mother was literally praying for my death because she felt that at least once and for all, she would know that I was finally safe. And I walked into my last treatment center. Everything I owned consisted of 8 scarves, 2 jackets, 3 socks, a stick of deodorant that fit into this bag that doubled as my pillow, a needle, a spoon, and a restraining order. And I was no longer accepting of that outcome. Like, what the fuck? I came from better. I knew better. I lived with that after school special. My father was who I became. I trumped him. I became 10 times worse than that man ever was. And I went from, at that very moment, possessing that job that consisted of knowing everything for 22 years to realizing what I do know is that I have no fucking idea. And my very best thinking has placed me here yet again. And I could no longer blame it on the second ex-fiance. You know, because in my story, if you attempted to stand between me and a drink or a drug, you had to fucking go. And it wasn't personal. It was just business.
That's interesting.
You had to. Like, I didn't have a say-so in the matter.
Yeah.
Which is like, and if people really want to get into the psychology of what my brain looked like during that time, my newest book that just came out, The Streets of Baltimore, it dives into that completely. Like having these opportunities, being presented the keys to the castle, literally. And knowing that it was just for a short period of time because my disease was going to fucking burn into the ground and I couldn't do anything about it.
That's gotta fucking be crazy. That like inciting insanity in you is that you kind of go, this one's going to be different. And then you just watch it do the same fucking thing.
Over and over.
This one is going to change everything. And then again.
And that's what would happen each time I would kind of achieve a benchmark in my career, like the book come out, end up on the TV show, and whatever it is, the skateboarding career, like each thing was going to fix the problem. What I was trying to do was fill this internal void with an external solution.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I get those external solutions, which came by way of money, property, or prestige, I always got diverted from my primary purpose, which was fucking obtaining complete abstinence from all mind and mood altering shit.
God damn it.
It's fucking deep, but that shit gets
really
me.
Is
that
deep.
Gets my dick hard now.
Yeah.
Talk like that, like to understand the psychology and it's so there's so many layers and it's so convoluted and it's so unappealing and unattractive because this is an absolute fact, not debatable. Don't waste my time after this when it comes out wanting to talk to me about what I'm going to say. Pull it up in any book, any fucking Google search. If we've been diagnosed as an addict or an alcoholic, all that simply means is that we've been diagnosed with a disease that if left untreated equals death. That is a fact. But this is the heavy part to what I just shared. It's the only fatal disease that I've been diagnosed with that lies to me in my own voice, making me believe the unbelievable, that I do not have the diagnosis that you've just diagnosed me with and I've accepted. Follow me. Don't lose me here.
No,
Diagnose me with HIV. I'm rushing to the hospital to get medication. I don't want to die. Fatal disease.
Yeah.
Diagnose me with cancer. I'm rushing to the hospital to get chemo. I don't want to die. Fatal disease.
Mm-hmm.
Diagnose me as an addict or an alcoholic. I need a glass of wine or a bag of heroin to figure out what the fuck's wrong with you for diagnosing me with said disease.
That's crazy.
And it's not like your voice appears in my head and it's like, Novak, you're not an addict. And I'm like, oh, fuck you, stranger danger. It's my voice in my head that makes me believe that.
It's so funny. That's so fucking interesting. When she threw away those pills, I remember thinking, what's fucking wrong with her?
Right?
Like, why would she think Why would she think I could handle everything?
Yeah.
I've handled it always. I've always been able to handle everything. Why is this different? And then but for whatever reason, my wife's pretty bluntly honest. She saw something I didn't see.
Yeah.
And was like, this shit's over.
Dude.
And I remember, I mean, if I called her right now and I was like, do you remember when we went camping with the campers the first time and I was coming off Oxy? Do you remember? She would start laughing hysterically and go, you don't even want me to bring that up to you.
Ooh.
It's crazy. It's insane to think that your brain does lie to you and treat you
In your voice.
In your voice.
And what I choose to see that as today, having a really healthy understanding of my disease and what I'm up against and how I can be armed to fucking retaliate against when it attacks, is that I and you at that moment in time were simply being divinely inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Because what it did for me, and maybe for you, from what I hear, it sounds like it did, it creates a big enough gap between you and the last pill you fucking shoved down your throat or last needle I stick into my arm to have that moment of clarity, to now start to look at the real problem, not the pills being gone, but the behaviors that led to the solution, which is the pill.
Yeah.
And then you're like, whoa, maybe this isn't right.
And what's crazy is that and what you said earlier is that not to like paraphrase in the worst way possible, but I think a lot of people are getting tricked into being addicts.
Totally.
Like that kid Jimmy
100%.
is getting tricked into being an addict.
I'd listen to a doctor. He has a PhD. He went to college.
Yeah.
He drives a fucking Audi. He lives in the suburbs. You know, he gives me a piece of paper that I go to Rite Aid and get it filled. I don't have to spend $1.
Yeah.
Why would I not?
My first prescription of Xanax was 90 pills.
Oh.
And they were 2 milligrams a pill.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that is like a comatose.
Dude, I call Xanax bars $5 felonies. You fucking buy them, and I from my own experience, I'd buy them and wake up in a jail cell with a stack of felonies, and I'm banging on the door like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what you did, you fucking idiot? You robbed the gas station and fell asleep in it, which I did, and then I ended up one of the world's dumbest criminals.
Are you serious?
In Colorado. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. So do you live out in LA now?
No, I live in Philly.
You live in Philly?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
We're out.
Which you're going to be in Baltimore.
We're in Baltimore next week.
Next
week.
My haunting ground, my stomping ground.
Baltimore's a really interesting place. The joke I had there was, did you, Baltimore, what was the joke? Baltimore is a place where the homeless people don't know they can't touch you. Like the homeless people just touch you, and you're like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to touch us." Like there's a written agreement.
A rule.
Like you don't touch us. Like we just fucking walk past you, but you guys touch us. Yeah, Baltimore. We're in Baltimore, Moosic, PA.
Yeah,
and then New Hampshire. And then we're on tour. It's funny. My daughters are going on tour with us, and I've been doing this thing where I plan my bedtime first. So it's been really fucking great. I love it. Because
are you an early to bed guy?
No, I'm not. I'm a late to bed guy. I'm really
early to wake.
What? Early to wake.
I see that.
Yeah, I wake up every morning.
I saw that Mark Wahlberg post the other day. That was fucking ingenious. I loved it.
I wake up every morning around 6:30, and then I work out for like an hour and a half. Thank God we had to cut it short today. Thank God. We were doing the workout today, and she had us doing, what are they called? Tabatas.
Yeah.
And it was so fucking hard. And she had us doing 2 rounds of Tabatas, and they were, and I was like, and she was like, we'll see if we can get both in, and then we got through one, and we were exhausted. We were doing squats also. We were fucking exhausted. Me and my assistant Pete, and then she goes, all right, you guys want to see if you can bang out one more? And I'm like, I got a podcast that starts in 30 minutes.
I'd love to under any other circumstances, but just not today.
But yeah, so I started focusing on sleep. For me,
are you an 8-hour guy, or you're good with 4 or 5?
So I've always been hey, fuck it, punish yourself.
Yeah.
You go, and this is where it has always landed. And I just changed. It's always been, hey man, enjoy life, go out, have fun, eat, drink, stay up late. Just know that when you wake up, you punish yourself in the morning. And it just, not to say it wasn't working for me, but I was like, I don't think I'm getting enough sleep, meaning I don't feel rested and I'm fucking pushing it in the mornings. And I go and so then the other night I said I want to get the right amount of sleep. So I back ended it. I said, okay, I have to get up. I'll tell you exactly what changed it. I push it every fucking day. I push it every day from the second I wake up until the second I go to bed. Like today we have this podcast. We have this great woman, Samantha Long, coming over, who does kip ups. Have you ever seen her?
No.
She's fucking, pull up Samantha Long's Instagram. She does kip ups in high heels. She's fucking amazing. She's an amazing dancer. And I do a kip up in the movie that is a fail. And she said, yo, if you want to, I'll come over and teach you how to do a kip up. We'll do a video.
Today's the day.
So she's coming over. Type in Samantha Long. She is fucking gangster. Okay, just type in the plane video. Hit the plane video. So this is Samantha Long in high heels.
Oh, wow. You're going to do that today.
Well, we're going to try. And so, but I push it really hard. And I said to Lex Friedman, do you know Lex Friedman?
Yeah.
I love him.
Big fan.
I love him. And we did a podcast and he said, do people ever tell you to slow down? I said, constantly. Yeah. And I tell him, I just ignore him.
How old are you now?
50.
Okay.
I said, I'm never going to slow down. I'm going to work every fucking second I can. I'm going to be awake every second I can and push it. And he goes, Lex said, you know what I like? I said, what? And he goes, the motherfuckers that tell me to push it harder. He goes, I surround myself with them. And I went, fuck yes. And so one day, we have a very busy day. And they said, we have to fly at like 7 a.m. And we had just gotten done working out. I just hung out with Lex. Leanne and I had been at the hotel the night before. I'd pushed it. I'd pushed it all fucking night. We stayed out until fucking 2 a.m. I came home working out at 6. And they go, do you want to work out tomorrow? My body said no. I said no, but I heard Lex in my head going, fucking push it harder.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, okay. I'm going to work out. I'm going to work out at fucking 4 a.m. tomorrow, 4:30 in the morning. How do I do that? Like, cause I can't go to bed at 2. So I said, I'm going to reverse engineer it and find out when I need to be in bed by and hold myself to that so I can get enough rest so I can push it in the morning. I said, I'll give myself, let's say I give myself 8 hours with a 2-hour window, knowing I can get 6 and be fine. And so I reverse engineered it. And then I've been doing that every night since then. I've just been going backwards. Oh, fuck. Hold on a second. This is the worst. My mushroom guy is calling.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Okay, hold on. All right, cool. Thank you. I'm having my assistant grab him, okay? All right, bye. Sorry. That's the worst fucking phone call to get in this podcast.
That was actually the best thing I've ever seen during any of my podcast experiences of my life.
Well, we're going on tour, and I wanted to...
That was fucking... Just when you couldn't be any cooler in my eyes. I might want to blow you in about 2 minutes.
So I hear So I hear you do gay activities.
While you're eating mushrooms,
Christine,
I want to blow you.
Will you tell them someone needs to go meet the mushroom guy? He's standing out front. He's out front of this
He's
house.
at the door.
Where's Pete? Fuck. Hold on.
He's got 80 calls during this, and the one he takes.
Mushrooms are out front. Can someone go grab them? This guy specializes in making mushrooms, and he makes like the most insane mushrooms. And we're all interested in microdosing, and so it's a long story. I'm the worst. I am the worst. I am the biggest. What is it when you call it jumbo shrimp? The oxymoron in the world. I'm sitting here talking about recovery.
I was just in the juxtaposition, pushing it, backsiding the fucking day to go to sleep properly to get this workout, and all of a sudden, abrupt halt to a fucking mushroom deal on your front porch.
Fucker. So, I
live vicariously through you now.
I'm a big like cocktail guy. I'm not a big psychedelics. I'll smoke a little weed, but I don't do any coke. I turned down coke 5 times in Australia. Yeah.
I just pegged you for a line or two here and there.
What?
I would have pegged you for a line or two here or there.
Back in the day when I was younger and I felt like I was going to live forever, I did. But the next day on coke for me was so bad. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Did someone taking care of it, Christine? But And so I started reverse engineering my day about when I want to wake up and just going to sleep and making sure I have enough rest so that I can work out. And so that's how I'm doing it now. And so now going on tour, I'm kind of curious of how this is going to work. I work very well when I have stuff to do all day long, and I have to work. When I work, when I go on stage at 9:40 and I get off at 11, I don't have my first drink until like midnight. And then if I'm reverse engineering my wake up, I may not really party much on this tour. My daughter's going to be there. My wife's going to be there. So I have no reason to be like, oh, where is everybody? I'm just by myself. And so I'm kind of curious to see.
I'm interested to see how it plays out.
I'm doing a big stretch. I'm going full-blown sober. I'm going full-blown sober from July, August, September. Just to get healthy and like to lose weight and to try to get ready for the fall tour.
I love it.
I love it too. We do Sober October every year.
I see you kill it.
Every time I do it,
You seem like happier, energetic, really vibracious, just looking lust for life.
It takes like 3 days, honestly, probably 3 or 2 days to get present.
Mm-hmm.
Like when when you're on tour and you're drinking and you're partying. This Sober October took less. It took like a day. I don't know why, but it took a day. I quit drinking earlier. I quit drinking before Sober October started. Just randomly. I was like, fuck it. But it takes a couple days usually to get present, where I can sit in a hammock and not go like be antsy and be like, I gotta get up. I gotta make a video. I gotta do something. I gotta fucking that alcohol does that for me the next day, where I'm like, yo, what's next? Let's keep going. And then when I don't drink, I actually have the ability to like sit in silence and be like, I remember during the pandemic, I was pushing it really hard. And right before the pandemic, I had a moment in Baltimore, oddly enough, where I gave up. I was in my tour bus and I was like, God, I can't do it like this. I need a break. I can't do it. I don't know when I'm getting that break. I don't know if it's a sitcom, what it is. I need something to get me off this tour bus and get me off the road, because I think I'm going to die on this tour bus. I go, help me figure this out. Go and do that show that night. We ended up partying in New York for like a week, and then pandemic hits. And I was like, fuck, God was listening.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
I used to be scared to pray for like sobriety, because I'm like, dude, what if that comes through avenue of like prison or
we went to New Orleans, and when the pandemic hit and they started closing shows, we went to New Orleans, and I was drinking in New Orleans, and when the pandemic hit, and I went, oh fuck, he listened. And I said, okay, I'm gonna let myself drink up until the morning we pull into LA, and then when we pull into LA, I'm not drinking. During the pandemic too, was like when everyone drank. I pulled into LA, and man,
they were keeping liquor stores open during the pandemic because it was a medical necessity.
Fuck, there's people that I know, dudes that were shaking
straight up.
And so, and so I didn't drink for like 3 months into the pandemic, and was like, I keep going. I remember the first night I drank. The first night I was drank, I had to do a live. My special had come out, and I had to do a live Zoom with my fans, and we were gonna do a happy hour Zoom. So I was gonna drink, and I was like, okay, well, I don't give a fuck. I'll start drinking. I never was saying I was gonna quit drinking forever. And the 2 days before, my wife's like, so are you gonna drink on this live stream? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And she was like, do you have a cold beer right now? And I was like, no, not really. She was like, come on. We were at our other house, and it was, sun was setting. She's like, let's have a cold beer, like just me and you, just in the back with the dogs, have a beer. And man, that fucking beer, I think that might be my favorite beer I've ever had in my entire life. That was the first fucking drink I had after 3 months, and I was like, the sparkle's back, baby.
Yeah.
Razzle dazzle. Fucking, they should have rehabs. They should have rehabs where they allow people to fall off the wagon and then get them right back on.
Dude, I don't want to say I'm a big fan, but I'm a big fan of people being allowed their process. Because if anyone would have robbed me of my process, I very well might not be here today talking to you.
Yeah.
So I believe like my sponsor in the program always.
Well, you have a sponsor still.
Yeah, I'm like.
I forgot about that.
I'm in the deal.
A sponsor.
Yeah, like I have a sponsor. I sponsor people. I'm like heavily entrenched in that whole 12-step world.
I just secret time.
I just picked up my 8-year cake out here the other day, actually.
You have 8 years sober?
Yeah, the other
Really?
day, the 25th of May, it was 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gave a dude going through the 12-step. I forgave someone going through the 12-step program.
The amends piece.
Yeah, he hit me up. I gave it to him.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You know, I've had a lot of people when you party, you end up running into a lot of people that are going through the steps, and so I've had a lot of people make amends. I've had a lot of people. There's one person that
one day this mushroom dealer might come and make amends to you.
Yeah,
for interrupting your podcast and disrespecting your time.
It's funny. The first time it happened, my wife was like, "This guy came up. He found me out of nowhere. I was leaving a building, and he came up. And he was like, "Hey man, I just want to say I haven't seen you in a while. Last time I saw you, I was pretty wasted, and I want to apologize." And I was like, "Oh, we're cool. I don't give a fuck." And my wife's like, and he's like, "Well, I haven't had a drink and da da da." And I was like, "Oh, cool, man." It was going past me, and Leanne's like, "Oh, hang on, like, he's making amends. You need to let him do what he's about to do." And I was like,
it's a thing.
And I was like, "Oh, wait." I go, "This is my first one."
I was
like,
stoked.
I go, start it over.
Let's run this back.
Yeah, and so he started.
Let me film this real quick.
Yeah, I was like, cool. And then I was like, well, I get to decide if I want to forgive you. And I was like, yeah, man, I've always liked you. I go, you got fucked up. That shit happens. I'm glad you're happy, and he's doing great. That guy's doing great. Another one. Once again, I didn't realize it was happening. It was a text or a DM, or a text or an email or whatever, and I read it. And this guy had been really shitty to me a lot. And I was sitting with my buddy Tom, and Tom goes, "Oh man, he's going through sobriety. That he's making amends." I went, "Really?" And he goes, "You got to figure out if you want to forgive him." And I was like, I don't think sobriety's going to take. Like, I don't think this is real. I don't think
totally.
Because like the day before, I got the most hateful message, and then this, and then I was like, I'll take a minute. And then 2 days later, fuck you for not fucking replying to my and I was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't take it.
They're a big deal, man. And you know, the fucked up part to those is, I don't know when these were done to you, but generally there's a part in making the amends where we say, have we wronged you? How have we wronged you? Is there anything that we left out? What can I do to make it better?
Yeah.
And I've had some people that were not happy with me. And the big boy piece, right? Boys do what they want to do, men do what they have to do, where you suit up and you show up, which really shows like what your recovery or sobriety looks like, is when they say, all right, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and none of it is pleasant, and you have to fucking follow through and do it.
Ooh. Dude, bird dogs have been a staple in my closet for now 4 years. I think I met them before the pandemic, and I love the bird dogs. Now they make the stretch khaki shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg to give you a true sculpted look. That is my summer look. Dude, I love a little slim fit through the thigh because I do squats and my thighs look awesome. These shorts do the exact same thing that Lululemon does, but they fit way better. They fit way better than any regular shorts that are made of stiff, restrictive cotton. Who wants those shorts? I want stuff that's stretch. I want to wear a pair of shorts where I can go out, do a little yard work, grill, jump in the pool, sit at my desk, veer down at my thigh and go, now that's the kind of thigh that built America. Bird Dog fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khakis, but stretches to make you look way slimmer without having to sacrifice any movement. They use anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. And I'm telling you, the anti-stink works. I had a pair of pants that did not have the anti-stink, and Leanne made me throw them away in Savannah, Georgia. I love my bird dogs. I've always loved my bird dogs. I've been a fan of bird dogs for a long time. They are a summer short. They are the short that you can do yard work in, you can work out in, you can swim in, they will dry, you can grill in, and that night you put on a nice Oxford and you go out with a pair of flip-flops, bird dogs, and an Oxford. Jesus, that's what I'm talking about. Go to birddogs.com/Bert for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. I love their little treats that come with them. That's birddogs.com/Bert for a Yeti-style tumbler. You do not want to take off your bird dogs. We promise you. Yeah, it's fucking intense.
Dude, I have this guy, and I can talk about it. It's in my book, and he's a good friend of mine now. And for a while he wasn't. And in Baltimore, he was with a chick of mine. I was living with her, and I was a heroin addict. She tried to love the addiction out of me. And finally enough was enough. She kicked me out of the house. And this guy was downstairs, living downstairs. And him and her were like best friends. He had a few different activities going on, and he had a lot of cash in the house. She kicks me out. Him and her become a thing. Now it's like the one that got away, like baseball, escape. Now I don't want, but I'm a heroin addict. So I'd occasionally break into this house. I knew how to break in. My fingerprints were already in there. They could never like say that I broke in, and I found all this money, and I stole this money, and word got out I stole the money. That's when I jumped. He put a hit out on me. He put a hit out on me, and that's when I jumped on the bus and ran to Gunnison, Colorado, Crested Butte, which is where I broke into the gas station and ended up one of the world's dumbest criminals. Yeah. Running from this hit out of Baltimore. Go out there, do what I do, and long story short, I come back to Baltimore. He lives in my mother's neighborhood in Little Italy. He did. And it's a very small neighborhood. And in Little Italy, everyone kind of knows everyone, and word travels quick. So when I would come into the neighborhood, he'd get word, and I had to like escape a lot of times. But then I get sober, and I didn't want, I started caring about others, and I did not want my mother to be retaliated against for my debts. Mm-hmm. And he put a price tag, a contract out on my head. So I called him after I'm sober, 2 years in. I call his bar. He owns a bar at the time. And I said, hey, I'm sober, and I was wondering if I could have some of your time to talk to you. And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, how about the Starbucks down the street, this public place? And he said, no, let's meet at the park off of fucking in the middle of nowhere. Now, this guy had financially paid to have me killed. Yeah. I jumped on a bus from Baltimore, took a 9-day Greyhound bus ride to Colorado, detoxing from heroin, zero money, stealing from food stops, just terrible. I call my sponsor, and the third step is we turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understand him. We give our life to this higher power. And call my sponsor. I'm like, he wants to meet me in a deserted park. And my sponsor said, well, you've worked the third step, right? And I said, yeah. He said, well, God's everything or he's nothing. Here you go. Hangs up. It's not the fucking answer I'm looking for here, Lex. Yeah. Fuck. And okay, God's everything or he's nothing. I go to the park, and he comes walking up. And I said, look, I stole this money from you, and you didn't deserve it. I shouldn't have done it. And I want to make my wrongs right. And here's $1,000, and I'm going to give you $1,000 the 28th of every month. Now at this time, I'm in early sobriety. My get well job was working at a diner for $6 an hour, washing dishes under the table next to a 15-year-old kid named Brian. After I had already done these things that people would attribute to like success. Yeah. In my mind, I should have been at the very least the president of the United States, not fucking busting suds in a diner for $6 an hour next to a 15-year-old boy. Yeah. But I meet Damien, and I give him $1,000, and I said, I'm gonna give you $1,000 every month, 28th every month. And he said, I don't want your money. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, what you don't know and you're not aware of, but I'm gonna share with you, is that I later on in life became an alcoholic. And I lost everything that I loved. I have this bar that I'm holding onto by a thread, but I've basically drank that away too. And I just got out of rehab yesterday, and I was going to drink today. And you called me out of nowhere. And when I answered the phone and heard you on it, and you told me you were sober and you wanted me to meet, I took it as a sign from God, and I didn't drink. Fast forward 6 years later, I paid him back every dollar that I owed him and stole from him, and he has not drank since. Holy and he's shit. Like a sober, productive, tax-paying member of society, and him and I have become like very good friends.
What happened to the chick?
I think she still feels it's best to love me from a distance. Yeah, I tried to make amends to her. I've never gotten a response.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's fucking.
But I was doing it because like someone told me that's the right thing to do. I thought that it's about cleaning my side of the street for my sobriety, securing it. But little did I know, like there was a much bigger play that I wasn't aware of by my higher power that was this selfless act was really helping him more than helping me.
How hard is it for you to deal with what Bam's going through, knowing that you have a kind of calling, or or not? I don't know if I can say superpower, but you know that the thing that you're good at is helping people, and you know the help is the last thing he wants.
Yeah.
Like how does that? Like I've been watching it online a little bit. I know I feel like Steve-O's just. I don't want to say like giving up. I know no one ever gives up, but Steve-O's just like. And I'm not saying that I've heard that from Steve-O personally.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at podcasts.
Sure. Steve-O and I have, we've kind of talked a lot and tried to figure out. Steve-O and I have the very similar perspective on recovery, sobriety, and kind of the narratives.
Whoever thought you two would be the fucking voices of reason?
Dude.
The fucking you two, out of all the fucking people in that group.
Yeah.
That is insane. And if that doesn't, I keep saying this, and I never finish this sentence. If there is someone listening that's going through problems on pills or on anything, and you go, well, fuck, I feel hopeless.
Yeah.
You two were poster boys for hopeless.
Yeah.
You guys legit represented yourself unwittingly, unknowingly to America as guys really struggling. And now you guys are like,
someone made a living
beacons
off of.
Yeah.
And that's where I always talk about the defects have now become the assets, because I've shifted my perspective and created a change in the narrative to let people know that, like, there is a light at the end of that dark tunnel. Because here's the deal, the demographic that I'm working with, meaning addicts and alcoholics, when I put my hand up and I say that I am an addict or an alcoholic, all that means is that I'm defiant by nature, I hate authority, and I refuse to conform. Because I possess that job that consists of knowing everything. So thank you, Bert, for suggesting to me what I could do to save my life, but I'll suggest why you should fuck off. Because I know. Walking into the 13th treatment center, fresh off of life support, fucking prostitution, the whole gamut of addiction, I realized that what I did know is that I didn't know. And now what I do is use this platform that I have and the followers that I've been blessed with throughout that whole crazy career to deliver my message in a form of attraction rather than promotion. Mm-hmm. Right. And I always say that I try to deliver this message, the life that I live, in a way that you find so attractive, so desirable, so appealing, so much so that you like want to fuck it. Because if I can get you to want what I have so bad that you're willing to do anything in the world to get it, then the terms of your contract will forever change. But unfortunately, I can't do it for you.
You can't.
So it's kind of like a sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors thing. It's all about the presentation. And although I'm pretty good at helping people get the help that they need, more so deserve, I present it in a way that allows them to believe that they came up with the idea.
Yeah. Because Bam's had runs of sobriety.
Yeah.
Like, not like.
Well, yeah, he was, he was in a treatment. He was kind of, he was in a treatment center he was kind of under a medical conservatorship where they kept him in treatment for almost 2 years.
Wow.
But he would kind of go from treatment center to treatment center. And again, I believe that some people's process has to be their process.
Yeah.
And who am I to rob anybody of that? It takes what it takes until it takes. And who am I to say what it will be for it to take?
Sobriety's like a souffle.
No one, yeah.
You can't take it out too
fucking
early.
Right.
You got to let it ride.
You got to. And I remember Bam saying to me, he's like, why did fucking treatment center number 13 work? Why not 12? Why not 10? Not 8, 6, 5? And the reality is they didn't tell me anything different in 13 that they missed in the 12 before.
Yeah.
He's like, did you have like a meeting with God or something? And without getting too deep with him, I kind of did.
Yeah.
Right. Because the pain had become so great that I was met face to face with my maker in a form of gift of desperation. The pain had become my purpose unbeknownst to me. Pain is the motivating factor that creates change in any walk of life if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't change when there's no repercussions for my actions and everything's status quo. Why?
No, it's hard. It's hard. Like I don't know. It's so hard to talk in code. So I'm afraid people will hear this and know that I'm talking about them. Me and a friend have a friend who's going through it.
Sure.
And me and the friend were talking about this guy drinking. We were drinking whiskey, and it's alcohol, and we're both drinking whiskey, talking about our buddy who's got a problem, and both of us were like, "Should we quit drinking?" and then my friend lit a joint and said, "No, we don't have a problem," and then we got high as fuck, but talking about our friend,
yeah,
and it's because it's so fucking convoluted because you're achieving at your highest and you're processing. It's so difficult because it's almost like I was thinking this the other day when I don't believe in death. I don't believe in death because it hadn't happened to me yet. So every time someone dies, I go, well, not me. It's interesting. People see other people die, and I think some people kind of relish in it, and they go, "Ooh, did you hear about what's his name? Yeah, cancer. Fucking 2 weeks to live, then fucking gone. Woo, that's crazy." As if it's not going to happen to them. There's no reverence for it, like going like, how horrific is this? And that's what fucks me up is I hear people talk about death as if it's not going to happen to them. Almost, I'm not going to say they're celebrating someone's death, but they're celebrating that it wasn't them.
Yeah.
And I hear that, and I think because, look, I got a wife who's really honest with me, and when I push it hard, she brings it up. I think I'm very honest. I try to be as honest as I can about my partying, but in doing so, when I see someone with a problem, I don't go like, huh, look at them. I go, "Woo, that happened. That can happen to all of us."
My go-to saying, "But for the grace of God, there go I."
Yeah.
Everyone carries a message to me, and that's what to do or what not to do. And my mother would instill in me as a child, show me who you walk with, and I'll tell you who you are.
Dude, we got to do more podcasts together. You're fucking fascinating.
Dude, between this and the mushrooms you're getting, let's fucking run it, man. Dude, it's the juxtaposition here. It's like a fucking Asian ladyboy meets fucking an all-American on a Friday night, and we scored.
So how often are you out in Philly? Or in LA, do you have a place out here, like a rehab facility out here that you work with?
No, but I did just open my own facility. My dream come true.
Really?
What I really believe in my heart of hearts is that, and because I'm a product of the environment, is that the disease of addiction is not a death sentence, right? Mm-hmm. Although statistics state and theoretical evidence dictates that I am to be high or dead right now, cold hard numbers. The fact that I'm not is A, miraculous, equaling a miracle, and B, it defies logic.
Yeah.
So if I can do it, how dare I fucking keep this wealth of information and life-saving knowledge to myself?
I agree.
Fuck you.
So what is the person? I hope there's someone listening right now that goes, "This is me, Bert. This is me."
Yeah.
What is this person, male or female, right now? What do they do? Like, how do they get sober?
It's simple. Call me directly. Fucking, I'll give you the number. You call me, you get me on the phone. And that's 610-314-6747. And we'll come up with the best plan to get you the help that you fucking deserve. Mm-hmm. If someone didn't pick up that phone when I called for the 13th time begging for help, I'd be in that plot that my mother bought me.
Yeah.
And how dare I be blessed with this amazing life to not share it? And so I've had the ability to just recently open my own treatment center, Redemption Addiction Treatment Center. And it's in Wilmington, Delaware, 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And I don't play well with others. I don't like the fucking word no, and failure is unacceptable. Oh. So if I see someone that needs and deserves help, but they don't have like the ways and means or the insurance, fuck you, I'll do it. And that's why I created this facility. Not that I can just bring the whole world in for free, but now I have the ability to not have to ask someone for approval to give someone a chance at a new way of life.
Yeah.
So I've created this, and I'm like a father who's left his newborn child to to go out of state for the first time, which is this.
Really?
I came here for this, for you.
Oh, dude,
because
thank you.
You are, God willing, going to allow me this really big platform that is a little outside of my wheelhouse, I think, to offer and extend help to a different demographic than is my general skateboarding jackass enthusiast.
Yeah. Well, I got a big following in Philly.
Yeah.
I got a big following in Baltimore, in DC. The East Coast is big for me.
Yeah. We love you.
Dude, the East Coast has been really good to me. I love the East Coast.
So I started out on my 5th year anniversary. I just celebrated 3. So 3 years ago, I went to treatment for 90 days. And from there, I went to the sober living house where I lived for a year. And this sober living house did for me what no other place really was able to do. And it helped me bridge the gap between an institution and society. And it taught me how to be a productive member of society, how to wash my clothes, brush my teeth, make my bed, shower, the normal things in life that people sometimes, I think, just take for granted. And so I said, when I found myself in a position where I was financially capable, I was going to recreate that sober living house. And on my 5th year anniversary, I opened my first men's sober house called Novak's house that had 10 beds. And today I have 6 houses with 65 beds. And the mission behind my statement, the why, if you will, is to travel, to raise enough money to provide scholarships for any man that completes treatment that wants to continue on their journey in recovery and sobriety. I refuse to let finances be a deterrent as to why someone
how do you get your money?
Get help. Just fucking generous people that want to scholarship people. It costs $180 a week once they once they kind of shift into a job and can become self-sufficient. But I will scholarship them upon entry, usually about a month into when they can assimilate back into the society. So I'll cover them until they get a job, but I will never tell anyone they can't stay there because they don't have money.
Really?
As long as they're like following the suggestions and the guidelines of the way we set our house up, I will give you a chance. Because like people gave me chances, and what that fucking did, and I'll never take this for granted. What it did was, remember I told you in a bit back that what was unacceptable to me was hurting the most important person in the world that I love more than anything. And I couldn't control that. I was unhuman, man. And what someone giving me a chance allowed my mother to not have to do was make my arrangements to be buried in that fucking plot that she bought me. And if that's not an act of providence, God, I don't know what is. I don't know what is, and I don't want to know what is. But what I do know is I will not take that for granted. I won't.
Well, you have, man. You haven't. You are an inspirational dude, man. I'm so lucky to have gotten to know you and DM'd back and forth and do this podcast because you're an inspiration, man. You really are. I can't wait till I call you and go, hey man, I'm ready.
That was my first thought when you said
my mushroom guys isn't coming through, and I'm tired.
The street.
I'm tired.
And you started your dry month and you're done, and I'm like, dude, well, I got you. I won't charge you a fucking dollar, Bert. I even give Leanne a fucking room.
The fucking Leanne starts doing the DMs and everyone's spreading. Guys, if you know where Bert is.
I'm sharing them. I got my team fucking descending on LA and Baltimore.
I come into rehab first time. I go, we saw this coming, didn't we?
Shocker. Can't say I never thought this would happen.
Yeah. Oh, dude, thank you for doing this.
Dude, I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
I sacrificed my puckered up little asshole. I had hemorrhoid surgery a month and a half ago to fly out here because it wasn't about me or the pain that I'd have to endure for a 6-hour flight. It was about the endless opportunities that, God willing, I can provide for people that don't believe there's a way out. That's the point of fucking this. So thank you for unapologetically being you, for coming out and taking full advantage of the situations that you've been presented and blessed with in a genuine way. Yeah. You bring your team. I watch it. You bring your wife, you bring your trainer, like you live life. And I fucking it. Sometimes I don't, and through seeing you do it, it allows me to want to do it a little bit more.
Dude, same to you. Same to you. And I'm being serious. You're an inspiration in a lot of ways I don't think you understand. It's like when you know, someone like me who maybe I'm not going to go full sober, but when I see you living this fulfilled life and working out the healthiest you've ever been, I go, I can do better. I can do better. I need to take some time off. I need to fucking really focus and get centered and go inside and try to figure out what the fuck's going on. And I'm telling you, not every victory you have on this podcast today, everyone listening, is going to be someone checking into rehab. But if you get some people to recalibrate and go, you know what, man?
Yeah.
I'm not drinking wine tonight. I'm getting a good night's sleep. That's just one day.
That's it.
That's just one day. And then let's see how I feel tomorrow.
Dude, you said it, one day at a time.
And
90% of the battle is just showing up, man.
I mean, a lot of this, I'm not even fucking around. I draw inspiration from people that I'm very different than. I've telling Lex this. I follow David Goggins and Cam Haines and Rogan and all these guys that are like fucking badasses. Andrew Huberman, yourself.
I saw him the other night.
I also, as Steve-O, when I listen to you guys talk about sobriety, it inspires me to be healthier. It may not do the thing where I just go, that's it, I'm stone sober for the rest of my life. But what it does do, and it's like same with Cam Haines, I'm not running a marathon every day.
Yeah.
I can't. But I can say every now and then, fuck it, let's just get on the treadmill and keep going until we get to 12 miles.
Dude, a conscious effort.
Yeah.
Where, like, for me, it's not acceptable to eat a pizza every night for dinner. Like, I know that I can do a little better.
Yeah.
I know that, like, I won't count carbs and, like, only eat vegetables, but what I can do is try to cut out as much processed foods as possible.
Dude.
But I love dessert, so let's go get a fucking milkshake. You know, just a conscious effort.
A little bit, if anyone's listening, just a little bit of swing in the right direction.
Bam.
And take these guys as your lighthouses or your channel markers and know that you don't have to go in that exact direction, but if you're heading towards that direction, then you're going the right way.
Because what I believe happens after going in that direction long enough, right, the abnormal becomes the normal. Like eating a pizza every night becomes the normal because that's just, but then once I create change in those behaviors and I start eating chicken every night, then it becomes abnormal to eat the pizza.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology.
Dude, hot sauce.
Bam.
Hot sauce. This sounds so crazy. Hot sauce. I was just telling these guys the other day, and it's all it is. I stopped eating hot sauce because I was living on a tour bus, and you just can't shit in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You cannot shit on a tour bus. You're
or
driving.
a tour bus. You can't shit
on a tour bus, but you can't shit in the middle of the night because you're on a tour bus. So I stopped eating hot sauce. If you told me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago that hot sauce would not be on everything I put in my mouth, I'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Right?
But out of necessity,
I
I started doing it. And now, yesterday, I put hot sauce on something for the first time. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Dude, you just proved the point. The analogy rings true. And that's it. You just fucking show up, man.
And
a little bit of accountability.
Yeah.
Create a plan. Everything my mother told me as a child is how I try to live today. You don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal, you don't drink, you don't drug, and nothing good happens after midnight. And that's like, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You fucking made a plan. You followed through with the plan, therefore you don't fail. You're not waking up in the middle of the night on a tour bus shitting the fucking bathroom, which is a no.
Yeah. I just realized I got to go to sleep at like fucking 8 tonight if I want to wake up. I got to work out at 4.
See, but ignorance is no longer bliss. You've started this routine, and now it's on the subconscious of like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't like.
Where can people get your books?
Dude, just go to my website.
What's your website?
BrandonNovak.com. All one word. Check out my facility, Redemption Addiction Treatment Center. Just fucking find me. I'm easy, man.
And follow him on Instagram. That's where I follow. That's where I found you. The first time I was like, and I've been fun. And I have to say, I know that, but I'm rooting for Bam. I really am. I'm rooting for that dude. I've been a fan of his for a long time. He is a sweet guy. He's a creative, inventive dude. And I will say this only because I love him. The guy he is right now online isn't the best version of him.
And it's not him.
It doesn't look like him.
It's not. If it wasn't for him, I really believe I'd be in that plot that my mother bought me. If he didn't extend that offer to get me out of Baltimore, nothing good would have came. I
agree.
So like everything that I say is out of a place of love and genuine care and concern. And there's nothing I won't do for him. But what I will not do is love him to death.
Yeah.
I won't do that, and I won't like enable the behaviors. I have to create these healthy boundaries.
I do understand the feeling of I do empathize with where he must be. And not totally. I don't know
I've
what he's
been
doing.
there. It's fucking the
But
worst,
I do
dude.
understand the not wanting to deal with what's coming around the corner because it's coming.
Oh, it's
fucking
it's inevitable. But for people out there that are in that position and do want some help, again, reach out to me directly. I have a phone that's sitting over there. It goes right to me. 610-314-6747.
Dude, you're a legend.
I love you.
I love you too, man.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you.